have a really personal story, which I hope you tell us about how you even got into this profession in the first place. Like where you were in your life and what got you here. So can you tell us about that?
Well, so going back a little bit to the social media stuff.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it started there, didn't I? Yeah,
Fine,
okay, sorry about
fine.
that.
But it does go along with being personable. So yes, I have this alter person that doesn't use my name on Facebook. And it's always been a way for me to kind of get the stuff out of my head that is stuck there and it just needs to go someplace. So it does have a little bit of a different tone to it than the professional stuff, but it is what's made me personable to a lot of people who I'm friends with on Facebook. So those people, when I launched my own business, they said, that's a person I can trust because I've seen the stuff that goes on in her head and I get it. Like I've been through that. I totally know that feeling when that happens and that doesn't come out of my mouth, but I want it to. And so I think that's, while it might not be the like professional Sue that I put on the evolution page, it is very much me, and it's just the stuff that you just can't let out all the time. And I think people appreciate that.
Well, and you are very professional. I mean, you really have a great balance between being personal and relatable, but also being professional. And I think that's a wonderful mix that you have going here. So,
Thank you.
Yeah, let's put that out there. There's my personal endorsement.
Yay.
Of Sue as a financial planner.
Yay. As far as my personal story goes,
yeah, please.
I think it's a very similar story to a lot of people in their 20s. I maybe just went a little bit more extreme than many people in their 20s. I was in college, I worked retail, I liked the stuff in the store, and so I bought a whole lot of stuff in the store, and I bought it on credit cards, and then I just kept going and kept going. And I remember, reaching a certain dollar mark, and I just kept going, and I remember when I passed that, somewhere in my head I thought, this is the point of no return. I don't think I'm ever going to pay any of this off. I don't know how I'm ever going to do that. And yet I just kept going. And it was a whole lot of the peer pressure of watching all of my friends do it and seeing that they could afford this stuff. And so I wanted to afford this stuff. And I needed all the clothing and I need all the cool things. And I just kept going and going and going. And then I got to this point where it was kind of this big snowball where everything started going wrong. I was doing a temp job where they let go of all of their temps, and I actually got an eviction notice from my landlord because they hadn't charged me a security deposit, and so I didn't pay a security deposit, and then boom, I get this eviction notice, and I'm just going, and I have thousands of dollars in credit card debt. Everything is just awful. And I sat there on my living room floor trying to figure out how the heck I was going to fix this, because I needed to fix this, and I started trying to figure out, okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to eat? What am I going to do for a living? I got a job doing collections, which was kind of ironic given where I was. But I got a job doing collections because I needed a job. And I actually put lists on my refrigerator. I put a list on my refrigerator and I labeled it reasons why I don't spend any money. And I started listing all of the things that I wanted to experience when I got out of credit card debt. And it was things like buying my friends a drink and having less stress and sleeping through the night and, being able to go shopping when I wanted to without horrible stress. So I had these things on a list in the refrigerator so I wouldn't forget why I was doing what I was doing. So why I was having a ham and cheese sandwich every single day for lunch, and why I would go and buy the big bulk bagels, and this is how I was surviving. And so I just started paying things off. I chose Tuesdays. Tuesdays were bill paying day, and I would sit down and I would pay the bills that I could pay and figure out how I was going to make it through the rest of the month. And I had little post-it notes that also showed what my credit card balance was and how much I had paid in interest that month. And I watched, because the credit card balance was actually too big for me to even comprehend, I watched the interest going down. And so every single month I'm like, I only threw away this much money this month. That's like $2 less than last month. That's fantastic, and then the next month, how much money did I throw away? Okay, that's getting better, and I just kept doing that, and I just kept trudging along, and I told myself that I would give myself a reward when I reached the annual average for credit card debt. And until that point, which was a long point from where I was at, I wasn't going to give myself any rewards for all the things that I was doing. And then I gave myself little checkpoints from that point on, like, okay, you can give yourself a little reward at this many thousands of dollars, and give yourself a little reward at this many thousands of dollars. And I actually missed my last reward because I got a bonus and just paid the whole thing off, and just missed the last checkpoint entirely, which was fantastic. And then I started going in the other direction because I'm like, now I want to save for a house. So it was really kind of cool to have this idea of like, okay, so I've gotten myself back to zero. I've figured out how to do this. Now I can move forward from here. So what I didn't realize is through this whole process, I was actually helping a lot of friends through their own debt process. They had been watching me do all of this, and they had been inspired by what I was doing. And so they're like, hey, Sue, I started getting these people telling me like, hey, I just paid this off. I wanted you to know. And I'm like, wow, people are really excited about this. This is really cool. And so when I finally got into financial services and I finally got into the financial industry, I realized I could actually do this for a living. I could actually inspire people to do these good decisions that would get them to a better point in their life, and hopefully help people not make the stupid decisions that I had made to get myself in this horrible, horrible hole. So, I have a bumper sticker out there in the front office that says, oh no, not another learning opportunity, because all of the things that I went through in my 20s, I would go through it. And I remember calling my parents once and saying, oh, this happened, but it's just another learning opportunity. And my dad came back with, I'm getting a little tired of you going through learning opportunities. I'm like, yeah, me too. But that's how I got here.
So it was a very disciplined approach to dealing with that. I mean, the thing I think when you first told me that, I was really surprised, first off, but I found, that's such a common story to be in that situation, especially in our country. And a lot of people get to the point where they feel like they are just, like you said, the point of no return. I can't get out of this.
Just keep going.
Right? So to hear a success story from that, I hope is uplifting to folks. What did it feel like when you got to that 0 point? What was that like?
That was amazing. Actually, it was funny because I sent in the check. I mailed in a check. This is back in the day.
Sue's kind of old.
Yeah.
Me too.
So I mailed in the check, and then the next month I got a bill for $10.68 because it was interest. And I'm just like, oh, you people. But yeah, then I actually called and they're like, well, you can make a payment over the phone. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. But it felt amazing. It really did. And, I did spend some time looking at the list on the fridge going, wow, I'm here. This huge weight is lifted. I don't have any of that to worry about anymore. And part of it was just hiding it from people too, because I didn't want people to know, because I was so embarrassed about the whole thing. I just, like, how stupid could I be? And how could I get myself into this horrible place? And so having to, being free of that and saying, okay, now I'm starting fresh. Now I can move forward and I don't need to worry about that stuff anymore, and I'm going to be smarter about it. And I closed that credit card, which I would not recommend people do because it wrecks your credit report. But I had to, in that situation for me emotionally, I just had to, because I had to be done with that part of my life. I think I still have the letter that they sent saying that it's closed, because I just needed to be done. And it felt so good to move forward from there saying, I did that. That was a thing I got through, and life is so much better on the other side.
Yeah, it's a remarkable story. I think it's great. And the fact that you did so much of it kind of on your own way and just figured out, how to do that. Yeah, that's awesome. I wish, I wish there were more opportunities for people, resources for people to find good ways to get out of credit card debt. But there's a whole bunch of resources for them to find not great ways to get out of credit card debt. And I think there's so much, misinformation and a lot not understood by people, and there's, it's a lot of industries are like that. But I find that one's kind of tricky as well, So maybe that's an opportunity for you to share your expertise and share your story a little more, to be like, hey, this is my template, Sue's template, or whatever you want to call it, about how to get it out of credit card debt, and share that with people and see if it takes some hard work and some discipline for sure, based on what you said, but it's possible. It's possible.
It is possible.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually, I do have a couple people who are, doing the coaching program with me that do have a significant amount of credit card debt that we're trying to get out of. And the whole time, I know what they're going through. I know the level of stress that it causes. And I know, one of the things on my list was better health, because I knew it was taking its toll on my health. And so, I hear some of the health problems that people are going through, and I keep thinking, we just need to get you out of this, and you'll feel so much better in so many ways.
And now you talked about health, so now I've got to get into your record-breaking consecutive workout day streak.
Right.
Can you tell us how many days you are consecutively working out?
I don't know exactly. I think it's somewhere in the upper 70s.
I thought it was over 80.
It might be over 80.
I thought it was over 80.
I'm not sure.
So you're not. It's just your routine, so you don't even keep track.
It's a routine.
Wow.
Routine.
Okay. And can you please explain what inspired this streak of consecutive days working out?
Well, it was a couple of things. It was, first off, went to a breakfast which consisted of donuts and coffee.
I like donuts and coffee.
And then I went to a lunch potluck that consisted of some food, but mostly desserts. So I proceeded to take 5 of them with me back to my office, because I didn't want to eat that many desserts in front of people. So then I was kind of feeling a little and then I watched a video, which this guy, I watch it every day. It's very motivational, but some days he just goes in a completely different direction, and the whole video is about how you're not working out because you're emotionally weak. And one of the things I am is stubborn. And so I'm looking at this guy and I'm like, I am not. And so I went home that night and I worked out. And then I've worked out almost every morning since then. I said almost because there are afternoons that I work out instead. But,
wow.
But yeah, every morning since then, I am not emotionally weak.
So it was more that than the overdoing it on the pastries.
The pastries were there.
Okay.
They were a thing.
All right.
They were a thing. Definitely not as into pastries as it was that day.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, we had to get that out there, because
I'm pretty proud of it.
It's remarkable. I have not worked out consecutive days in a row for a while, and definitely not that many consecutive days.
You know my trick. It's actually beyond the fact that I'm not emotionally weak, because I'm
not
emotionally weak.
Gotcha.
Beyond that, I actually keep it to a shorter time frame, because I've learned from myself that if I push it up to a half-hour time frame, which isn't all that long, but it's still enough for me to say, I don't have that kind of time, and then I skip it. So I keep it into the 15 to 20 minute range, because you can do 15 to 20 minutes. And you wake up and you pretty much say, I don't want to, and then go, seriously, Sue, it's 15 minutes, you should do this. So so if it were a half hour, I'd be like, I don't want to, and I don't have that kind of time. So I keep it shorter.
Fair enough. Hey, have you ever tried, what do you do normally? Is it the same thing? You switch it up, or what's the...
So here's where we advertise the Fitbit.
Okay. If Fitbit, you want to put some money to this, that's fine.
Right.
Yeah.
If you want to sponsor the podcast,
right.
All over the map.
Hey, we're good.
Okay. So the Fitbit has a coaching program, and it's $40 a year. I'm a financial planner, so I concentrate on that too. But it's $40 a year, and it's this program that you can choose the time commitment that you want to do, or what kind of workouts you want to do, and it'll just throw one at you every single day. So you do it with your phone, whatever. If I had a fancier Fitbit, I could do it with like the watch thingy. But it just throws different workouts at you every day, whether it consists of like, today we're going to be working on your arms and shoulders. So we're going to be doing a lot of push-ups and we're going to do some, bench dips and things like that. So you focus on different things, and every single day is a different thing.
Have you ever heard of or tried burst training before?
I have not.
Okay. It's a time saver, and it can be very effective. It was actually, I think it was about 10 years ago or so, the chiropractor that we were seeing kind of introduced it to us, introduced us to a whole bunch of people up in the Eau Claire area at that time. And it was, so basically the concept is you can do any type of activity you want, whether it's, but you don't need equipment. So it's either like running in place or jumping jacks or up downs or push-ups or, just something where you're getting your whole body activity going. And you have to do it within a certain time frame. So you're on for, I think it's a minute, it's either 60 seconds or 90 seconds of activity and then 30 seconds off. And then 60 or 90 back on and then 30 seconds off, and then do that one more. And you do, and 3 of those sessions is like one set. And then you take a minute and a half break and you do another set, and then a minute and a half break and do another set.
So it's the kind of the high intensity
Right.
training.
Right. And the idea was that then it stimulates your body and everything, that you're actually burning calories for 36 hours after you complete your workouts, which, I mean, that sounds good, right? But you have to go like full tilt. I mean, you've got to be 100% as hard as you can go during that time frame. So that's kind of the key part to it. But, extreme workouts with Sue could be another thing. I don't know,
Well, and I gotta say that part of the reason why I worked out, I guess I left this part out, is I'm on various forums for business owners and things like that. And one of the things that kept coming up is when people would talk about being overly stressed, somebody would respond and say, "Do you have a workout routine?" Because that's a great way to relieve stress. And all of these people on all of these forums, they're all talking about their morning workout routines. And I just kept telling myself, I have to do that. I have to do that. And I couldn't get myself into the habit. So thankfully I had that one day that pushed me into the habit. And it has made a huge difference, because you start the day accomplishing something, right? Even if you didn't want to do the thing, even if it's hard, you can handle anything if you know when it's going to end. And it's only 15 minutes, so you can do this. So it really does help to just start the day by saying, okay, I didn't want to do that, but I accomplished that. I feel better. Now I can get ready for work.
Well, I wanted to bring it back to financial planning here a little bit in your business before we wrap things up. So you tell us a little bit quickly, you've been in business for how long?
8 months.
8 months. We're talking to Sue Peck, owner, founder of Evolution Financial, CFP, certified financial planner. And so she's been with her own business 8 months, but you've worked in the industry how long?
So total, I've worked at the industry for about 15 years. I had just a few year stint up in the Twin Cities. And then I worked here in Madison for another almost 12 years.
So again, even though the company is new, Sue is not new to this, just so you're aware. And then the other part, I think that's fun. So starting a new business. Okay. What were some of the most fun parts and some of the most challenging parts to starting your own gig? Tell me.
I think what I'm enjoying the most is, and this might be unique to somebody who worked for quite some time in the corporate world, but it's this daily rediscovery of Sue and who I am and what I stand for. And it was weird, because when I started, I would have client meetings and I realized that I was running them the way other people ran them, and it wasn't me, wasn't my style. And so it was this slow morphing back into who I am, which I think is part of the reason why I got all the head shaved this last weekend. This is like the 25-year-old Sue haircut. But it's getting back to, who I am and what was actually like enjoyable to me in my life. And so I feel really good about that. And I think that's been my most fun part. Probably the most challenging is the emotional ups and downs. Everything when you are a new business owner, and probably even 5 or 6 years down the road, it's more extreme. You know, if somebody tells you no, you are just on the floor. I'm a failure. No one's ever going to like me. And if somebody tells you yes, you want to throw a party. Like, I'm just going to go dance for a little while in the middle of the floor. And, you know, then there's the financial side of things. You know, when you realize, you know, it's been 8 months since I got a paycheck. That's kind of scary, you know. So the financial side of things is definitely a tough thing to take too, realizing, okay, I have to somehow make it through, and hopefully I'm going to be profitable, and this had better succeed, and how is this going to work? And I'm feeling much better about things now. You know, when I first started, it was a whole lot of the extremes and so much crying. But now things are kind of settling down. I've got clients. I'm feeling good. I know what I'm doing. I love the people that I'm working with as far as clients go. I love the other professionals that I work with, and I'm feeling stable and looking forward to all of the years that I have ahead of me. And the first few months I was doing this, there was no way I could possibly look forward to all of the years I had ahead of me, because how the heck was I going to make it to the end of the month? So yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of challenges. It's every day is a new thing, and it's exciting. It really is.
Number one best thing about it, what is it?
The people. I love meeting people. Yeah, if I hadn't made that clear already. I really do love meeting people. I love seeing people feeling good about where they're going, and, you know, presenting that financial plan to somebody who came in here because they're not entirely sure they're going to be able to, you know, pay for the next 5 years of their life, and then presenting them with a plan that shows that they're going to be okay. You know, I love sending that email or making that phone call to somebody saying, hey, we should meet to go over your plan. I think you're going to like it. You know, it's a really neat feeling to be able to do that.
Sue Peck of Evolution Financial, thanks for joining me today. One other question, are any marching band alumni activities coming up anytime? Do you ever get involved in that stuff?
I actually did not join the alumni band this year. That was my fault.
Okay.
I think I missed the deadline, but I will be joining it for the 2018-2019 season. So we do have a game that the marching band or the alumni band plays halftime, pregame and halftime in the fall. So I plan on marching that this year. I haven't marched in Camp Randall in many, many years, so I'm really looking forward to it.
And so was that, what will you be playing?
I will be playing the trombone.
The trombone, okay, because you mentioned all the brass instruments before, and I wasn't sure which, you know.
I will be playing the trombone, and I will continue to work out until that point, so I can actually, you know, play and march at the same time. It's hard.
All right. Well, this is Sue Peck of Evolution Financial, owner, founder of the company, and certified financial planner. Thanks for joining me today, Sue.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. All right. That's it for this edition of All Over the Map. We'll catch you again soon.
Bye.